This video is a continuation of examples using Bootstrap classes to control the display of your content within Sitefinity's Page Editor. It is strongly recommended to watch the previous videos if you haven't already done so, as we may be using many page building tools previously explained. This lesson will specifically focus on styling images. We will be creating a landing page using Sitefinity's out-of-the-box support for .NET Core. We will use a page template, a section preset, a content block widget, an image widget, and a content list widget. Let's get started. Before we dive into Sitefinity, let's take a quick look at the Bootstrap website. Today's lesson uses a Bootstrap border class. Example of different border classes can be found under the Utilities section in the Bootstrap documentation. As you'll see, these types of classes are used to easily style elements. I will be specifically using the border radius classes called rounded pill and rounded circle to apply a radius style to the border of an image. Now that we have our class names, we can go ahead into Sitefinity and start building pages. I am using a blank instance of Sitefinity version 14.4, which is the latest release as of this recording. I created a page template to use for this demonstration. It is built upon the one layout that comes out of the box with the .NET Core application. It already references the Bootstrap framework. Themes and designs have not been implemented, although I have already created a page template, uploaded images, and created content in preparation for this lesson. Only out-of-the-box functionality will be used. Keep in mind that by the time you begin working in the system, you might have a site design already implemented, which could affect your control over your image displays. I'll begin by building a page using the page template I created earlier. As you can see, I have two sections where I can add content. I will add the widgets and content first, and then go back and apply the CSS classes. Starting in the first section at the top, I'll add a section preset widget containing a background image. Section presets were covered in a previous video in this Bootstrap class series. To the main content area, I will add a content list widget and configure it to display my news articles. Since the content list widget works with numerous content types, you'll need to map the content data fields shown here on the right to the available template data fields on the left. All other default settings will be kept. I only have 3 news articles, so there is no need to set a display limit. Next, I will add a content block widget. Content blocks can be created directly on the page, or they can be created ahead of time and repurposed, which is what I'm using here. Lastly, I will add an image widget, selecting an image I previously uploaded. I will set the image size property to use the original size. Before we continue, I want to make a couple adjustments to the spacing between the content elements. Margin and padding values can be set in some of the content widgets. You can access those settings in the widget configuration or through the shortcut. I'll set a size large padding at the bottom of the content block widget. I'd like to add the same spacing between the content list and the large image. However, you'll notice the content list widget does not offer a padding or margin setting. There are a couple options to achieve this, but in this case, the simplest is to use the top margin setting for the image widget. Now I'm ready to add the border class for all of my images. I'll start at the top again with a section preset. Keep in mind that a section widget defines a layout. This section preset is configured as a 2-column layout with a background image. This means that the image will only appear when other content is displayed in the section. Since I have a content block with placeholder text in the second column, we can see the image. CSS class configurations are advanced settings for widgets, which are found through the gear icon in the top right-hand corner of the widget designer. Since I am working with a section background image, the class must be set for the section in order for it to affect the image. I'll use the rounded pill class here. For the Content Block widget, it too has a CSS class setting in Advanced Settings. Adding the class here applies the style to the whole content block. It's certainly valid if that's the intent, but I'm just focusing on images. Therefore, I have to apply the class directly in the HTML. Click the View HTML button, which is enabled by default on the WYSIWYG toolbar, locate the image tag, and add the class. If there is already a class attribute in the element as you see in my example, simply add a space and then the class name, making sure it's within the quotes. I will use the rounded circle class for this example. If a class attribute does not already exist, you'll need to add it following the format you see here. You are now probably expecting to see the image with the border. However, keep in mind that we are working with a default install of the CMS. The default setup for the WYSIWYG Rich Text Editor does not reference the Bootstrap framework. Bootstrap classes added to the HTML will not be recognized here. You'll see the change only in a view where the Bootstrap framework is being referenced, such as in the default layout I'm using for my page template. The Content List widget comes standard with a display template that uses an image element, which you can see under the Advanced Settings. Therefore, it is a straightforward process to apply the image class. I'm using the rounded circle as I did in the content block. Applying classes to the images in the image widget also seems pretty straightforward. However, it's important to understand that the selected image size may result in different HTML output, which can affect where the class is applied. The full explanation is a bit more advanced, so we'll save that for another video. For now, using the original image size option as I have done will give you the result you've seen thus far. As a recap, you've seen how you can apply Bootstrap border classes to manipulate the borders of your images in various widgets. The classes are set in the Advanced Widget properties or directly in the HTML for rich text fields such as content blocks. Again, keep in mind that your implementation, your design, and your custom widget view templates may alter the behavior of what was demonstrated today. We hope you enjoyed today's lesson and hope to see you next time. Thank you.